Hello, let me go over some questions for chapter 9. The first question is about how to calculate NPV. There are a couple of ways that you could use to calculate NPV. The first one is using the formula. According to the formula, NPV is the present value of all the cash flows. Let me use the pen over here. So you can see that NPV would be equal to the cash flow at time 0. Okay, is usually negative because it is the expense plus the present value of all the inflows in the future, all the cash inflows in the future. So in our example here, the cash flow at time 0 is negative 135,000. The inflows will be 28,600 in year 1, so the present value would be 28,600 over 1.085 to the power 1 because it is in the first year. For the second year, the present value of 65,500 is 65,500 over 1.085 to the power second. And for the third year, 71,900 over 1.085 to the power third. And after we do that, NPV is 3,289 and 86. Now, calculate NPV using formula is a little long, and so most of the times, once you understand how to calculate NPV, you should use financial calculator to do that. So there are two ways there are two types of calculators that you can use. Number one is the BI2 Plus. It's pretty simple to use. First you read the instruction and the manuals posted on my courses, and then apply to this example. So in order for you to calculate NPV, you need to input the cash flows and the frequencies. So how to do that? First you press the cash flow sign, press CF, okay, and it will be asking you for CF0, which is the cash flow at time 0. So you input 135,000 negative because at that time, at the beginning it is the outflow. So you input 135,000 negative and then press the enter key and then press the arrow down. Okay, and once you press the arrow down, it is asking you for CO1, which is the cash flow at time 1. So you input 28,600 and press enter and then press the arrow down one more time. It is asking you for the frequency frequency of cash flow in year 1. So you can see that there is only one time 28,600 happen. So you put frequency for year 1 is 1. And then enter, press the arrow key down one more time. It is asking you for cash flow in time 2. You input 65,500, enter, press the arrow down. It is asking for FO2, which is the frequency in year 2. You press enter, you input 1 and press enter and an arrow key down one more time. And finally it is asking for the cash flow in year 3, which is 71,900. So you input that, enter and press the arrow key down, and frequency is again 1, enter, arrow down. So after you input all the cash flows and frequency, you press NPV and it will be asking you for the interest rate I. So you input I 8.5 and enter and arrow down. Do not put 0.085. You have to input 8.5 because the calculator is assumed that 8.5 is 8.5%. Okay, so do not put 0.085. Simply put 8.5 and then press the arrow key down one more time and you will see the NPV and press compute. Okay, and you get the same answers as in the formula. If you don't have a BI2 Plus, you can use a graphing calculator, TI-83 or TI-84. So you go to apps, choose finance, select option 7 for NPV. The formula for NPV is, open parentheses, rate. The next number is cash flow at time 0 and then cash flows in the future and the cash flows frequency. So in our example, the rate is 8.5. So you type the rate 8.5, comma, negative 135,000 for cash flow at time 0 and comma, open a curly bracket, 28,600, 65,500, 71,900. They are the cash flows for year 1, year 2 and year 3. And close curly bracket, comma, open another curly bracket for the cash flows frequencies. So 111 are the frequencies for all these cash flows. And then press press enter. So you should get NPV equal to the same answer we had before, 32, 89, 86. Now, if frequencies are all equal to 1, you don't have to input them. You can ignore them. So you simply input the interest rate, cash flow at time 0 and the cash flows in year 1, 2 and 3 and enter. Okay, you can ignore the frequencies. You get the same answer. Alright, so that is how you calculate NPV for a project using a calculator or using a formula. Now the second question is calculate the discounted payback. To calculate discounted payback, it is similar to calculate the regular payback, except that the cash flows now have to be discounted to present values. So you have 3 years of cash flows, 28,600 in year 1, 65,500 in year 2, 71,900 in year 3. You need to find present value of the cash flows. So in year 1 the present value would be 28,600 over 1 plus the interest rate, which is 8.5%. So you get the present value of cash flow 1 is 26,395.45. You do the same thing for present value in year 2. It is 65,500 over 1.085 to the power second, and the answer is 55,639.32. And in year 3, present value is 71,900 over 1.085 to the power third, and it is equal to 56,291.09. And then once you get the present values of the cash flows, you put in the timeline like I have done over here. So from year 0, 1, 2 and 3. For the discounted cash flows, at the beginning you need to recover $135,000. You see the previous question. At the beginning you spend $135,000. So at the beginning of the year 0 you need to recover $135,000. Alright. So the idea of the discounted payback or regular payback is to calculate how long or how many years it takes to recover your money. So you need to recover $135,000 in year 0. In year 1, the cash flows of the project is the original cash flow is 28,600, but this is discounted payback. We have to work with the present values, and we calculated the present values is 26,395. Okay, and the present value of the cash flows in year 2 is 55,639.32. For year 3, 56,291 and 09. And then you calculate the cumulative discounted cash flows. So you start with negative 135,000. After year 1, okay, you have you made the project gave you an amount equal to 26,395.45. So after year 1, you need to recover this. Let me show you. So you have negative 135,000. Okay, that is at the beginning. You need to recover. After year 1, you had an amount equal to 26,395.45. Okay, and then the end would be negative 108,604.55. Okay, so this is what we have right here. Okay, after year 1, you need to recover this much. After year 2, you do similar. Okay, you do similar. You made an amount equal to 55,693.32. So the amount left you need to recover is negative 52,965.23. Okay, and then you made an amount equal 56,291 at the end of year 3. So you put it in here, 56,291.09. So at the end of year 3, you make a profit of 3325.86. Okay. So the time that the project requires for you to recover the entire amount of money, which is 135,000, is somewhere between year 2 and year 3. Okay, so the discounted payback has to be at least 2 years plus a portion of year 3 that you need to recover. At the beginning of year 3, you need to recover 52,965. During year 3, you make 56,291. So the discounted payback would be at least 2 years plus a portion of year 2 to recover $52,965. So it is equal to 52,965.23 over 56,291.09, and it is equal to 294 years. Okay, so it takes about 2.94 years to get all the money back, all the $135,000, and this is taking into account present values, which is the interest rate or time value of money. Question number 3: should the project be accepted based on the internal rate of return, IRR? So to answer this question, you need to calculate the IRR. The way you calculate the IRR is very similar to the way you calculate NPV. First, you need to input the cash flows. 135,000 negative for year 0, 28,600 for year 1, frequency is 1, 65,500 for year 2, frequency is 1, 71,900 for year 3, frequency is 1. And then Actually, you don't have to. You don't need the interest in here. Okay, no need the interest. After you input the cash flows, you press IRR and then press compute. Okay, and you will get IRR equal to 9.69%. So using the financial calculator, this is the formula. You go to apps, go to finance, choose option 8 for IRR. So you input IRR negative 135,000, curly bracket 28,600, 65,500, 71,900, close curly bracket. You can choose to input frequencies or you can ignore them if they are all equal to 1. So the answer is 9.69%. So when you use IRR, if IRR is greater than the required return, then you should accept the project. So IRR is the return per year of the project. Okay, NPV gives you a profit. IRR gives you a return per year. So in this example, the return per year of this project is about 9.69%. And the required return or the interest rate is only 8.5%. Okay, so obviously the return for this project is 9.69. So it is 9.69, which is a return IRR greater than 8.65, no, 8.5 of this project. 8.5 of the project. So obviously the project is making money. Okay, the return is 8.5, but the required return or the interest rate or the cost of capital is only 8.5%. So the project is good. Accept the project. Okay. Question number 4. You are considering the following two mutually exclusive projects. Okay, the two mutually exclusive projects are the one that you cannot, you have to accept only one of the two. Okay, you cannot accept both. So for this question, the best way to do is calculate NPV for A and calculate NPV for B. So very similar to the previous question, use the financial calculator to do so, and you get NPV for A is 23.2646, for B is 19.9156. Excuse me. So obviously NPV of A is higher than NPV of B, and because they are mutually exclusive, so A obviously is better than B, because A is adding more value to the company than B. Okay. Internal rate of return. For this question, you calculate IRR for X project, and you get IRR for project A is 11.06%, for B is 11.79%. And NPV for A is 18,670, and NPV for B is 38,8805. Now in this question, they are independent projects. They are not mutually exclusive. Independent project means the decision to accept one project doesn't affect the decision to accept the other one, as long as you have money to do both. So if they are independent and you have money to do both, you should choose both of them. Why? Because both of them are good projects. They have positive NPV, and the IRR is higher than the required return. 1106 higher than 10%, 1179 higher than 10%. Okay. Now number 6, profitability index. The profitability index is the very very simple formula. The present value of inflows over the present value of outflows. Okay. So to calculate NPV, inflows only. Inflows meaning it doesn't take into account the cash flow at time zero. So using calculator, you put interest 9%, zero cash flow for time zero, and you even put cash flows in year 1, year 2, and year 3. And you get the present values of inflows is 21,909 and 89. And then the profitability index is the present value of inflows over present value of outflows. What is the outflows? It is the cost at time zero. Okay, looking at this, see that the only time you have outflows is 21,500 at time zero. So it is 21,909, 89 inflows over 21,500 outflows equal to 102. Okay, so if PI, as long as the profitability index is greater than 1, meaning the inflows is higher than the outflows, the project is good. You should accept. Okay, you should accept the project if the profitability index is higher than 1. So if PI is higher than 1, it is similar to NPV greater than 0, and IRR is higher than required return. Okay, now number 7, payback. To calculate payback is very similar to you calculate discounted payback we did earlier, except that this one is even easier. You don't need to calculate discounted cash flows anymore. You simply use the original cash flows. So at the beginning you have 5,700. Okay, why you have 5,700 at the beginning? Because the cost would be 4,200. Inventory and another expenses are 1,500. So the overall cost would be 5,700. Okay, it is a cost outflow. You should have a negative sign. In 1 year you have 1,200 right here. In 2 years you have 1,500. In 3 years you have 1,600. In 4 years you have 1,750. So you calculate cumulative cash flows, and you're starting with 5,700. Alright, you need to recover. After year 1 you make 1,200. So the amount of money you need to recover, okay, negative 5,700. Oh man. So you have negative 5,700, you add 1,200 back, so you have negative 4,500. Okay, you have negative 4,500. And then you add in after 2 years you have another 1,500 coming in, so you have negative $3,000 only, and so on. After year 3 is negative 1,400. After year 4 it has become positive 350. So obviously to get your money back you need at least 3 years. Somewhere between year 3 and year 4 you need to have at least 3 years. And a portion of year 4. How to calculate the portion of year 4? You start with 1,400, that is amount you need to recover, 1,400. And during year 4 you have 1,750. So it is 1,400 over 1,750, and on top of the 3 years, so the payback is 3.8 years. Okay, so very simple to calculate payback. And now the question is, should we accept or reject this project? Now for payback to work you need to have a cutoff point, okay, a required payback period for this project. So in this example, Jack is assigning 3-year required payback period. What it means is the project has to give the money back before 3 years, okay, within 3 years. But in this case the payback is 3.8, so it takes longer than Jack requires. So the answer obviously is no, because the payback is 3.8 higher than 3 years. Okay. Discounted payback similar to we did before, calculate the discounted payback. Number 9, internal calculate IRR. Again, use the financial calculator to get the IRR. Alright, you shouldn't have any problem with that. Number 10, what is the crossover rate? To get the crossover rate, what is a crossover rate? It is a rate in which the NPV profile of A crosses the NPV profile of B. Or you put it more simple, in a simple word, it is a rate in which NPV of A equal to NPV of B. So how do we find out crossover rate? It is basically you get the difference between the two cash flows. Okay, for example, negative 84,500 minus negative 76,900, and this is equal to negative 7,600. Alright, so this is the difference between A and B. 29,000 minus 25,000, you have 4,000. 40,000 minus 35,000, you have 5,000. Okay, 27 minus 26, you have 1,000. And then you put the difference in the cash flows here into a calculator, either a financial either BI2 plus or graphing calculator. You compute IRR and you get 17, and you get the IRR equal to 17.899%. And so this is a rate in which what it means is when the rate when the discount rate when the discount rate equal to 17.899%, then the NPV of A will be equal to NPV of B. Okay. Number 11, what is the IRR of the better project? To do that, how do we know a project is better than the other one or not? We look at the NPV. If NPV of A is higher than NPV of B, then obviously A is a better project. Okay, so to do that, we need to find out NPV. So let me get the solution at the end. So you can see that the NPV of A is 24.53, NPV of S, NPV of L is 35.24, IRR of S is 13.88, IRR of L is 13.09. So this is a project, this is a little tricky, because you can see that NPV of S is smaller than NPV of L, but the IRR of S is higher than IRR of L. So at that time, which one would be a better project? As if you read the book or read the lecture notes slide, we always go with NPV. The project that has higher NPV is a better project because it is adding more values to the company. So as you can see, NPV of L is 35.24, higher than NPV of S. So the answer is IRR of L is 13.09. Okay, so the answer for this question is 13.09. What is the IRR of the better project? 13.09. Okay, alright, so for this question, for this chapter, everything is pretty straightforward. So after you have reviewed the sample question, review this video lecture, please go to Connect and start working on the homework for chapter 9. Alright, any question, please let me know. Thank you. Bye bye.